Got the pen and the paper in your hand. Got the story going, but you wanted to expand. We'll help you on your journey, let us lend you a hand. Join the show. So let's write the book TV show. Grab your pen and paper and we're gonna let it flow. Talking about write the book TV. Join the show.
Hello and welcome to another segment of Write the Book TV. I am your host, Kimberly LeBou. Each week we've been showing up here during season 3 with some fabulous guests, and tonight is no different. Tonight we have the Shine Queen on here with us, ladies and gentlemen. She is Andrea Harrison, and she is the author of Show Up and Shine, The Busy Woman's Guide to Bold Visibility and Faith-Driven Leadership. Look at her, all on the cover. Welcome to the show, Andrea. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to have you on here. I was like, where's Andrea? She hasn't been on yet. We got to fix this.
I'm so glad we did.
Yes, I'm so excited about everything that I see you doing, all of the goodness. So I can't wait to just dive into it with you tonight and let the good people, most of them probably already know who you are, but for those of you who do not, you're in for a real treat. Real treat. And so we're going to just jump right into it because we have so much to talk about and I want to be able to get it all in. And so we're first going to talk about this title, Show Up and Shine, because it is such a powerful call to action. And so first I want to know what inspired you to write this book and why now?
As someone who used to hide my voice and hide, period, not thinking that I had anything to say, I decided that I needed to start showing up and shining. That it was important for me to do that, not just for myself, but for my daughter and for others that follow me as well. And so I started showing up, I started going live, and I built a community out of the comment section of my lives. And then I wrote a book, and then I wrote another one, and then we wrote an anthology. So it's just been one thing after the other, but it all started with me being obedient to my God call, what God called me to do, which was to show up and shine.
I love that so much. And you are doing it well. We
Thank
see you
you.
shining all over the place, and I just love it. And so in the book, you're talking about your journey from hidden to being seen, right? And so what does being hidden look like for so many women, even when they're already accomplished? And we see this so much.
I think what hidden looks like for leaders, for thought leaders, for servant leaders, for experts in their field is they have something to say. They know that they were created for more. And I think sometimes we tend to compare ourselves with other people that are doing the same thing that we're doing. We tend to think that what we have to say, we kind of dumb it down sometimes, like we don't really have much to say. And I think because we hear ourselves saying it so much and it comes so natural to us, and it's another part of us that we feel like, nobody wants to hear this. And we don't realize just how much God has placed on the inside of us that he is trusting us to get out there.
True.
And so, I do it. I show up and I shine. I show up when I don't really feel like showing up. I show up on days where I wish I could just stay in my bed. I show up on days where I'm going through something and I really don't want to shine, but I do it because one, I made a commitment to God, but two, because I know that there are women and men out there who are expecting me to show up. And because I show up, they show up as well.
Yes, you're giving them permission. I love that. So it's a lot of women, though, who struggle with being visible without feeling like they have to change who they are. I've heard it said, who do I have to become in order to get to where I want to go, right?
Right.
Who do I need to become in order to get where I want to go? And so, how do you help women show up boldly while staying authentic to their values?
Like I said before, as someone who used to hide my voice,
Hmm.
I started showing up and shining every day, building a community, writing the books, doing all the things. The way that I help them is by doing it and then being able to take their hand and walk alongside them. But when God called me to do this, I was in a different place doing something totally different. I was selling a product. I did it for almost 9 years. I was excited about it. I loved it. I became very well known. I branded myself. I did all the things.
Hmm.
And God called me to go live every weekday morning at 10 a.m. For many years, he just kept impressing upon my heart that was something he wanted me to do. And I was like, nope, I'm not the one. No, I go live right now. I sell my product. I'm good. And what I loved is that I would still inspire women. I would still encourage them. I would still, something hit my heart. I would say it, but I had my product that I could fall back on. So
Hmm.
if I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't have anything else to
Yeah.
say, I could just go back to selling the product. Okay, so this is what we have here. And God wanted me to come away from doing that. And
Wow.
he wanted me to share my heart and to show up in a different way. And
Mhm.
I didn't think that I could do that. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm just a girl from the
Mhm.
Bronx who really just wants to make God proud. And it took me actually, and I write about this in the book, it took me actually someone pouring into me and reminding me of who I was and
Mhm.
telling me that God hasn't forgotten about you and that your heart. And these were the words out of everything that this woman said to me when she said, he made your heart to be poured out onto his people. It was like she didn't say anything else.
Yeah.
And that was when everything changed for me. And just showing up is how because I know who I needed when
Mhm.
I was hiding my voice, when I was playing small, when
Mhm.
I was the world's greatest secret,
Yeah.
when I was walking in my lane of genius, but I'm over here doing my thing.
Right.
Don't look over here.
Don't look.
Don't look. Yeah,
That's funny. And
yeah.
so it may be what you just said, but my next question I was going to ask you about was you talking about, your journey from burned out to bold, and if there was a specific moment, a point, a turning point when you realized that something had to shift. And so was it that moment or was it something different?
The shift for me came when I realized that I was pouring so much of myself out. And and I write about this as well. It was like I was preparing a five Michelin star meal, and for people that I was in position to to pour into.
Hmm.
And it got to a point where it felt like I was putting out this buffet, this large buffet, this long table,
Hmm.
and people were taking what they needed, and then they were gone.
Oh, wow.
And so started to feel depleted. I started to feel, and that's when I started to question myself, like, there's got to be more out here.
Hmm.
There's got to be more for me to do. And I think that's when things changed for me. And it was right around that time that I started to finally become obedient and do what God had asked me to do. And that changed everything because although I didn't feel like I was qualified to do exactly what he wanted me to do, and let me make this clear, I am not shy. Like, You could put me on a stage with 3 million people in the audience, and as long as I know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
I am not shy. I will talk. I won't be nervous about that.
Yeah.
When I'm not exactly sure, and it's not something that I feel like, I felt like, do I need to go to seminary? Like, do I need to go to theology school or something? When I felt that God was leading me to just share my heart, but I knew that sharing my heart was really about his heart
Mm.
and sharing things, like I said, I have a couple of Bible scriptures that I have memorized since Sunday school, and I know where things are in the Bible. I
Yeah.
know where to go and find it. I know how to do my research and things like that.
Mhm.
But standing up and preaching, so to speak,
Yeah.
that wasn't something that I was comfortable
Hmm.
with doing. And so it really took me being obedient and actually just throwing myself in there and doing it.
Yeah.
And once I started doing it, then that's when my confidence, my consistency is what led to my confidence. So I
Mm.
took a situation that I felt like I was being depleted and burnt out, and I turned it around by just saying yes.
Yeah.
I turned it around by just saying yes. And that's when everything changed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, it's sort of like I have these questions to ask you, but every time I ask you something, it's like you answer the question that I'm about to ask. So I'm going to ask it just in case you want to add more to it.
Okay.
And so your book is rooted in faith-driven leadership.
Yes.
And the question is, how has your relationship with God shaped the way that you lead and show up in your business and your life?
The way that my life has been changed, and you're asking about my relationship with God. How has my relationship with God
Mhm.
changed, right?
Yeah, shape
Um,
the way that you lead and show
oh,
up.
shape the way that I lead. Okay.
Yes.
So the way that my relationship with God has shaped the way that I lead and the way that I show up and shine
Mhm.
is because he has me living out everything that he wants me to teach.
Oh, yeah. You will do.
So it's like I live this transparent life. And although I don't believe in bleeding on the people, I don't believe in speaking from a place where you're not healed. I don't believe in sharing all the dirty details, because the dirty details is not what people are interested in. They want to know, how did you get over? How did you get
Transformation.
out?
Yeah.
How did you make it out of that? How did you change things? And
Mhm.
so, because of my obedience and because of me walking this out every day, I've gotten closer to God. Just even something as simple as trusting God with the things that I've had to face and the things that I've had to go through, in my life over the past almost 3 years. I've learned what it means to really trust God. It's not
Yeah.
just lip service, but it's
Mm.
really when you're in a situation and you are out of control. You might be spinning out of control, or
Mhm.
you might just have absolutely no control over the situation.
Yeah.
And it's being able to close your eyes, take your hands completely off of it,
Mhm.
and fall back. Not being I mentioned this before. I don't remember where I was speaking, but I mentioned this before. I trust my husband with my life.
Nice.
I trust him with my life, and I know that if I was falling, he would catch me.
That's beautiful.
But I'm still human.
Hmm.
And so if he was standing behind me and he said, "Go ahead, fall, I'm going to catch you." First of all, this Bronx girl is going to be like, "What you want me to do? I'm not falling back. Are you crazy?" But even with him, we've been married 25 years almost this October.
Beautiful.
Even with him, I would be like,
There's a little hesitation. Yeah.
right. And that's somebody that I know, that
Hmm.
I see, that I do life with,
Yeah.
and then somebody I can't see.
Hmm.
You're asking me to trust you blindly?
Yeah.
And so being able to walk these things out in my life, that is what shapes me. It's the experiences, it's seeing how God can take someone who's made lots of mistakes and still use me. Someone who is not, at least the way I see it, not totally qualified to do what I do, but he qualified me. It's those things that really shape what I do. And my mission is to make sure that other women, other people know that they can do it too. That you don't have, everything doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be ready. You just need to say yes. God only wants our yes. He only wants our surrender. And once we do that, and we are walking, putting one foot in front of the other with our gifts on display, he can take that and he can make much out of it.
Yes. And as that leads right into the next question. I could have did this without questions. My question is, many women know that they're called to do more, but self-doubt keeps them stuck. And I see this a lot even in the business that I'm in. What are some practical ways to move forward even when doubt is still there?
So one is consistency. One is actually being, whatever it is that God has called you to do, be consistent with it. Keep showing up no matter how you feel, no matter what you think about it. Just keep showing up, because that is how your confidence is going to be built. No one can take that away from you. No one can take your confidence away from you. So that's one thing. The other thing is I have these conversations with myself. We have to know the nature of God. We have to know who God is for ourselves. Not what our grandmother told us, not what our mother told us, not what the Sunday school teacher told us. We have to experience him and know him for ourselves. And once you know who you are, who he is, and who you are in him, and what he said about you, he called me worthy. He says I'm marvelous.
Yeah.
He says that he has a hope and a future for me. So when you know those things and doubt hits you, what I do is I speak to it. Like I literally look in the mirror and I say, if there's something that keeps playing over in my head, if there are toxic thoughts that keep playing over and over in my head, and maybe I'm getting ready to do something and like they're just on repeat.
Yeah.
I speak to it and I say, those thoughts are not from God. Those are not my thoughts. And I would say, these are not my thoughts. I reject these thoughts. These thoughts are, and I keep repeating that to myself. And I make the choice to move past that. It's not easy all the time, but it gets better with time.
Yeah, I agree. I remember there was a point in my life where I had somebody that was constantly speaking negativity over me. And I would always say, I believe what God says about me. Every time they said it, I believe what God says about me. Say something else, I believe what God says about me every single time. And that was helping me to stay here versus getting off track by what that person was saying to me. And so I love that you put it the way that you did. And I see me in you.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Let me see. I had two parts here marked in the book that I wanted to talk about. You have an action plan.
Tell me what page we're on.
I am on 47.
Okay, so I'll join you.
Okay. And so I just want you to talk a little bit about, this action plan about abandoning fear. You said identify your fears, reframe your thoughts, and take a small step of faith. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So identify your fears. Write down the specific fears holding you back. And so there's nothing that we can do about something if we don't know what it is, if we're not truthful with ourselves, honest with ourselves as to what it is. And so it's important for us to identify it. And for me, I have to write everything down. I like to look at it. That's why I will always have a real book in my hand. I gotta feel it. I gotta smell it. I gotta see it, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's important to write down the specific fears that are holding you back
Yeah.
so that you can know what it is. And another thing my mom taught me is to, and this is in the Bible, is to seek wise counsel.
Absolutely.
What are you seeking wise counsel about if you don't even know what it is? So
Mm,
it's important to write it down so that you know what it is and so that you can maybe talk to somebody else about it if that's necessary.
yeah.
And then you can do something with it once you identify it. Then
Mhm.
the next one is reframe your thoughts. So replace fear-based thoughts with declarations rooted in faith.
Yeah.
And so it's in the devotional journal that I wrote. At the bottom of every day, there is a 30-day devotional. At the bottom of every day, there's a declaration.
hmm
And I believe in, you know how they say, if you say you can't, then you won't.
Yeah.
But if you say you can, then you most likely will, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to have words that you speak over yourself,
Mm,
things that you say to yourself. Lots of people like to call it affirmations. I like to say declarations because I believe that we are declaring this thing
yeah.
over ourselves. And so when you do that, you're reframing the way that you think. You're reframing your thoughts, those fear-based thoughts, with declarations that are rooted in
Mm,
faith. And then the third one says, take a small step of faith. So choose one of those fears and then take a small, tangible action to
mhm.
overcome in this week. So it's one thing to say something. And like I said before, sometimes it becomes lip service,
Yeah.
and it's something else to actually do it and take action. And I think for me, especially when it comes to me learning anything, I'm a very hands-on person. And once I actually go through the motions, once I actually do it, even when I was designing tables in my previous design life, making the mock tables was very helpful for me to really catch the vision and then to build from it. Because if someone says, I want a red and gold tablescape, I had to pull all the pieces. I like to pull all the pieces together and create a mock
Mm,
tablescape so that I could look at it and I
yeah.
could see it from all different directions. And then I could say, oh, a candle, some candles would be nice here, or, gold charger plates would look nice here. And then, oh, we could put some bone china. And so it actually allows you to visualize it.
hmm
And once you can see something, I think it's easier for you to believe in it. You have to
Yeah.
see yourself as who you want to become, who you want to be. You got to first see it so that you can believe it. And so
Yeah.
every chapter has an action plan and a key takeaway. And that's why I call it the Busy Woman's Guide,
Yeah.
because it's meant to be like, someone said to me, this is their second Bible. And someone else said, it's their playbook.
Oh, I love Playbook.
Yeah.
I love.
Someone said it's their playbook.
Mhm. And so the takeaway from that, what we were just talking about, abandoning fear, was fear is an illusion, but faith is the bridge to purpose. When we choose faith, we unlock God's blessings and step boldly into our calling. And
Yes.
so that was a marked favorite. And then we had, oh, first I did want to stop and say hey to our viewing audience because they are there. Hey, Cheryl. And I see your husband. And so we got some people watching. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking to Miss Andrea Harrison, and her title of her book is Show Up and Shine: The Busy Woman's Guide to Bold Visibility and Faith-Driven Leadership. Okay, and so the other place I had marked was the action plan for quit quitting. I love that so much. Quit quitting. And so it was that was page 54. I'm on 54. Declare your worth and your purpose. Take small but bold steps forward, and then lean into community and accountability. And so I love that quit quitting.
Yeah, because we do that a lot.
Yes.
We do that a lot. And you know what? It's not always a bad thing.
Hmm.
Because what it says about you is that you're not going to just give up.
True.
You're not going to just give up. You know, you're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I love it. And so let's see. The book also it speaks to women who, well, how do I want to put that? Mm, okay, directly to busy women.
Mhm.
How can someone who feels stretched thin, because this is a big one for us, stretched thin, still prioritize showing up and building their visibility?
To be honest, I think that it takes you making a choice. It has
Yeah.
to start there. You have to make the choice and you have to commit to God and you have to commit to yourself and you
Hmm.
have to commit to those that you have been created and designed
Yeah.
to impact. You know, there are lives that are attached to yours. There are women out there are men out there that need to hear
Hmm.
your voice. They
Yeah.
need to hear your story. And in order for them to get the permission that they really don't need, but
Yeah.
it's very helpful when we hear someone telling their story and it resonates with us
Yeah.
and we say, man, I'm not alone out here. Wow, she went through that. Oh, let me tune in to hear, how did she get over? How did she
Absolutely.
get through that? And so it's important for us to tell our story so that it resonates with other people and they're able to show up and shine as well. But it really comes back to that commitment and
Mhm.
making that choice. And so, you know, we make room and we make time to do all the things that are important to us.
So
And there
true.
are other things that sometimes we brush it off or we put it aside
Mhm.
because we don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Other than myself and maybe a handful of other people that I know, I
Mhm.
don't know anybody that is like, oh, I want to go live. I want to go live. Like people who love going live or
Not
love,
it.
yeah, right.
Not it.
Or love showing up, right?
Yeah.
People tend to kind of want to just chill out, you know, hang out in the cut and do their thing. And because it takes effort, it takes pulling yourself together, it takes, you know,
Hmm.
doing your hair. And some people, you know,
All the
putting on
things.
makeup and
Yeah.
dressing up and getting prepared and waking up early or whatever the case may be. And so if you want change in your life, though, and
Hmm.
if you know that this, you know, whatever it is, maybe it's not going live, but whatever it is, however God has led you to show up in your life and to show up for his people, I
Hmm.
think that you have to make the choice. You have to believe in yourself first
Yeah.
and know that you are his masterpiece and that you can be a work in progress at the same time.
Hmm.
And you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to make a choice and say, I'm going to surrender my will to
Hmm.
your will.
Yeah.
I want to be in alignment with your plan for my life. And I know that if I say yes, I know that if I surrender, if I know I surrender my will to yours, that you are going to make my crooked paths
Yeah.
straight,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, for me, it's a choice, it's a
Mhm.
commitment. And I believe that, and I've seen it in my own life, that once you show up for God, man, there's nobody that can show up bigger than him
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. For me, I know for me, it's like if I make the commitment to God, like I'm 100% going to follow through
Hmm.
because I'm not letting God down. And so if I really want to hold myself accountable to something, I'll be like,
Hmm.
okay, Lord, this is what we about to do.
Right.
And no matter, like you said, it does not matter if I want to show up or not. It's like you committed to this,
Yep.
so you have to follow through.
Yep.
And no matter how much it hurts,
And you know what?
make that commitment.
I remember there was a time when I did not want to go live. There
Hmm.
was a morning that I think my husband and I, we had some words and I was not feeling it.
Yeah.
I still had a commitment.
Hmm.
I didn't feel like shining,
Yeah.
but I had a commitment. I had a commitment to God. I had a commitment to myself, because
Yeah.
those are the promises we tend to break most often, are the
Mm-hmm.
promises we
To
commit
ourselves.
to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew that I had a commitment to the people who showed up for me to hear me. They're waiting. If
Mm-hmm.
I go live 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning, and if it's 10:01, I'm getting text messages. Where are you? Where you at?
People expecting for
You,
you to show up.
exactly. And so there was one time that I was not interested, didn't want to do it, and I did it because I was committed.
Mm,
And I let them know. I said, listen, I'm here. I don't feel like being here today,
yeah.
but I have a commitment to be here. So I'm going to read the devotion, and, and then that's it.
It was probably one of your best lives.
It was 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I read what I had to read, and I told him, I was like, that's it. That's all I got. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you recognize that phrase. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I said. I said, that's all I got.
Yeah.
And I got off that live, and I immediately felt terrible. I said, man,
Mm-hmm.
I just disappointed God. I said, what's wrong with me? How could I, how could I go there and do it like that? I should have just pretended like everything was okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I said, I'm not a pretender. First
Yeah.
of all, I can't do it. I can't switch I can't flip the switch. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel it, you're going to know that I don't feel it. And if I'm happy, you're going to know that I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't, I have to always be authentic. I have to always be true to myself. And I said, I showed up. It may not have been the best live, but I showed up. And do you know how many messages
Yep.
that I've gotten from that one live?
Yeah.
People telling me, you showed us how to show up even
Even
when
when.
we don't want to.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So good. Of course, we're, out of time. I have one last question. One last question. And for the woman who's watching, who knows she's been playing small, like what would you say to encourage her to finally step into her voice and visibility?
First of all, read the book. Seriously, read the book. If you see, I have tabs.
Mm-hmm.
I have tabs. I have all sorts of highlights, because I was that woman that needed this book. I felt like that. And so we got to make the commitment to ourselves. We have to know who we are. We have to know who God says that we are.
Yeah.
And then we just have to walk in our purpose confidently. We just got to put one foot in front of the other. And as we put one foot in front of the other, our confidence will be built.
Yeah.
We just have to persevere and keep doing it. And when you keep doing it, one day you turn around and you look and say,
Wow.
I've
Yeah.
been doing this for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Look at the community that I've built. Look at all of the messages. I saved the messages. I
Yeah.
screenshot all the messages, all the comments. And on those bad days is when you got to go back and
Back in,
you
yeah.
got to read it, and remind yourself of who you are and what you've been called to
Mhm.
do. And we don't realize that when we share our story, when we share who we are, where we've come from, what we've done, what we've accomplished, what we're afraid of, we are actually, as we're telling our story, we are unlocking somebody else's prison, the
Yeah.
prison that they have been living in, the things that are swirling around in their head. And so we make that choice, we make the commitment, and we get up, we show up, and we shine.
Yeah.
And if we are used to playing small, just keep showing up, keep doing it, become a part of a community. That's
Mhm.
what really helps me and a lot of the ladies in the Shine crew. We are a community, and we help to build each other up. It's iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be out here alone. And so if you're playing small and you are afraid to show up, and you're not really sure of yourself, it's really important to get in community with other people that are trying to do what you're doing, or what you want to do, or what you aspire to do, because it's going to encourage you seeing other women do what it is that you are longing to do, or you know that you were built and designed and created to do.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. That's great, great advice. Thank you. See, Cheryl Randolph, she said, awesome. And so before we go, of course, I want you to let everybody know how they can connect with you and how they can get your awesome and amazing books.
My website,
Mhm.
shinewithandrea.com. The books are there. You can click the tab for the books. You can click the tab to read my blog. And there's also shinewithandrea.com/shine up. So you
Mm.
can get shined up so that not signed up, but yes,
Signed up.
shined up. And that's on the website as well, shinewithandrea.com. And you'll get a free gift from me once you sign up.
Mhm.
And we'll be able to stay in contact with each other. You'll get, from time to time, you'll receive emails to let you know what's going on, what I'm doing, where I'm going to be, or just to,
All the things.
yes, just to give you a word of encouragement.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Great. This was amazing. Thank you so much for being my guest on tonight. You are just incredible, and I am just so proud of you and watching your journey. And so I applaud you and just keep going. Just keep going. And so thank you so much also to our viewing audience on tonight. Thank you for tuning in to another segment of Write the Book TV, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night. Be blessed.